Hey, what's up, and welcome in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. It's one thing for you to be watching me on YouTube and checking out Cap and J Hood weekday mornings between 6 and 9 a.m. Central on ESPN 1000 and on the ESPN Chicago app. It's one thing for you to support me, and I appreciate it, but I want you to share what we're doing on YouTube because we got so much content on YouTube right here. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and comment to everything we do on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, as we are presented to you by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, nhschicago.org. That's exactly where you go. They've been serving the community for over 50 years. If you're looking to be able to start to plant roots for a new home, I want you to consider going through Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. They've helped my family, and they can help yours as well. They can tell you about the home buying process. And if you want to do something different for 2026, if you're in an apartment or a loft, you're like, I'm ready for my own home. This is where you go. Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, nhschicago.org. So excited because the NFL draft is here. We'll have a very special show on Thursday, the 23rd of April, as we get a chance to hone in on what the Bears are going to do in the first round of the draft. We'll have coverage right here, so make sure that you hit your notifications to make sure that you can watch the draft with us here at Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, and make sure that you comment. There's some people that are going to be like, I love this draft pick, and some people are going to say, I can't stand this draft pick. That's why you come here, watch it with us, and that way you can instantly give your feedback on what happened with the Bears in the NFL draft right here at Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Oh, by the way, we have merchandise that's available right now. It's in the bio, like a nice mug, and then there's the beanie hats, and we've got T-shirts as well. We got so much merchandise that's available for you. It's for you or for someone that wants to be able to know more about Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So that's why I want you to go to the bio and check out our merchandise available right now. Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, available right now. The link is right there. Oh, there's the hoodies as well, by the way. There's some people very close to me that claim even though it's 60 degrees, it's still too chilly for them, too cold. And I'm like, cold? Okay, then put this on. The Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood hoodie. We got T-shirts as well for regular folk. So make sure that you check it out. The merchandise is available right now for Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Very, very special guest is going to be with us to get ready for the draft. We'll take a look at some of the Big Ten standouts that will be in this year's draft. Because the Big Ten, not only have they won the national championship, but also they have taken over the first round of the draft based on projections. So we have a very special guest to talk about that and more. And also, what are the Bears going to do in the draft? We'll talk about that with our very special guest right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. There he is. There he is, the pride and joy of Illinois, right there, Chicago's own, two-time Super Bowl champion, Big Ten Network analyst Howard Griffith rejoins the program here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Sir, as always, I appreciate your time.
Anytime, Hoodie. How you been, man?
I'm great, man. Hey, listen, let me know, how have things been going with the opportunity for Soldier Field to be moved to Bronzeville? New stadium I know you've been working on that very much, and I know you're looking forward to the new Bear Stadium being in Bronzeville. How's that project going, Howard? Go right ahead.
So I can walk right down the street. That would be great. It'd be wonderful. At this point, we don't know where they're going to be. They'll be somewhere. Hopefully a decision can get made soon. You'd think they'd like to start building this thing at some point.
People that are not familiar with the area, I pulled them to the side and said, I know people in Bronzeville. That long money ain't going nowhere. So you're not displacing people in homes. Yeah. No one's leaving Bronzeville. They're settled and nice and comfortable. Nice walk to the lake. You need to go and move for the Chicago Bears. That's not happening.
Not gonna happen. No chance. 31st Street Beach. Come on, man.
No.
Interrupting our flow.
They're not doing that. They are going to the diner. They're getting up and they are watering their grass at 5 a.m. They're watching the news. They're going to their local diner for breakfast. And then they're going to settle in for the rest of the day and go to bed at 5, have dinner, a nice early dinner, and count their money. Make sure the money's still there underneath the mattress. And then they will go to bed. That's what they do in Bronzeville.
Not quite, but it's close.
But they're not leaving. That's the whole point. I'm looking forward to this draft because it is so stacked with Big Ten talent. So
Oh,
at this point in time, I want to know your thoughts about Fernando Mendoza. What did you think of what he could provide at the next level after a tremendous year with Indiana?
yeah, I think you have to go back, at least for me. I go back to my first meeting with him when I was there, to watch Indiana this summer, and just how engaging he was. And I can tell you, first when I walked away from him, I'm like, this is the biggest nerd I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
But he's into it. He's really, wanted to ingratiate himself into the team. He wanted to make himself available. And it was to his credit, knowing that he was going to be the starting quarterback, he still came in as hungry as anybody else in that program, wanting to lead. And, I think it starts there, his humility and where he's been and the way he's gotten, to become the number one overall pick, we presume, and also a Heisman Trophy winner and a champion now. It's been a hard road for him, but he's grown at every step of the way. And you just watch his humility, and you think about what he's been able to do on the field. I go back to that Penn State game when he had that unbelievable throw at the end, and it was even a better catch by Omar Cooper, who I think probably got 2 feet in, although he only needed one. Obviously, got the touchdown, but he got beat up on that drive. And he was beat up a couple of times this year, including the championship game when they got after him, and his resilience, his ability to shake those hits off and bounce back is what you want to see in a young quarterback. Even though, I'm of the belief that he should sit, and by them having Kirk Cousins on the roster, that's going to give them that opportunity for him to really immerse himself into, the culture of being a pro, how to be a pro, and obviously that offense.
Yeah, I think it's make or break for Kirk, but I think that's good for Mendoza to be able to watch a professional. Actually, it's 2 Spider-Man memes looking at each other. The way Kirk comports himself, and then Mendoza, it's like, wait, I'm you. Wait, you're me. And so I think that works out in a big way for Mendoza either way.
Yeah, I tell you this, Lydia, and I think when you go back, I go back and think about Kirk Cousins when he was drafted right after Washington took RG3. And RG3 was, obviously that was, he was a big time player coming out of college. And we were in the green room and I was talking with Gennardo, and Gennardo looked at me. He's like, why would they take him? And I said, Mike Shanahan, West Coast offense, Kirk Cousins, he's going to play for a long time. Had no idea that that he'd be able to generate the type of income that he has over this time or play as long. But I knew his ability and the type of traits that they wanted out of the West Coast offense. Fast forward to Mendoza. He's being trained by who? Brian Greasy, who's won a championship, played in the West Coast offense, coached with the 49ers the past few years. So he's really gotten an opportunity to really dive into what that offense is about. And, you look at just what the Raiders are doing right now from a organizational standpoint. I think Tom Brady might know one or two things about playing the quarterback spot. So there are a lot of things, include Kubiak in that realm too. When you start to think about all the things that are going on around Mendoza, I think he's going into a great situation where he's going to have an opportunity to thrive.
I'll limit it some of the Ohio State players because there's going to be a plethora of them in the draft. But I can't wait to talk to you about Avril Reese though. This is someone projected to be in the top 3, definitely top 5. What does that look like on the next level for him?
Man, it's so untapped. I mean, he's got so much further he can go as a pro. He's not gotten even close to his ceiling. And I think that's why one of the reasons people are so intrigued by him, when you look at just his physical stature, his ability to play with his hand in the dirt or off the ball, really allows him to do a lot of things, but he still has a lot to learn. So when you look at him, you're saying, well, okay, is he the most ready player that we can take with the number 2 or the number 3 pick? Mm-hmm. The answer is probably no, but his upside is so much greater than the other guys. I think Bailey is another guy that's pointed out for that number 2 spot. So it just depends what you're looking for and what the philosophy is as an organization, and what direction you want to go.
I'm looking forward to seeing Sonny Styles on Sundays, the linebacker from Ohio State. It's just one of those things. Howard, you just turn on the tape and you just see a guy that has so much potential to have a great motor on the
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah, and to me, when I talk about Sonny Styles, the first thing that jumps out to me, he's 21 years old, and he
Yeah.
has played a lot of football to this point, which is an important part. Unlike Reese, hasn't played as much,
Mhm.
but when you look at Styles, he played the safety position, understands what coverage is all about. He still has to get better, probably in the zone area as far as defensive coverage is concerned. But just his ability to, be physical and speed to power and being able to wrap guys up and take them to the ground. And they don't make guys like that. And I'm telling you, Hoodie, when I saw these two guys standing next to each other this summer, I was like, what in the world? And the other thing for both of these guys, they've been coached hard. James Laurinaitis has been their position coach the last several years,
Mhm.
and he coaches these guys hard and gets them ready. And just to see what they've been able to do. Now, the scary thing we'll fast forward, talk to the Big Ten about Big Ten. That's a linebacker room that's still loaded. They've got some babies in there that are going to be just as exciting as the guys that just left out that room.
That's always a concern for a college football program, right? Even at NIL, it's like these top level guys got to a certain level. Well, who's left? And if you're going to reload and you feel like you're not going to miss a beat, that's outstanding.
Yeah, it really is. But as you mentioned, these Ohio State guys right now, they're playing at a different level, and what they've been able to do on the defensive side this past year has been remarkable. And now you only have to look at the draft and see the kind of guys that are available from Ohio State to see what's available and the type of talent that they had this year.
Howard, the first wide receiver that's going to come off the board is Carnell Tate, apparently from Ohio State. So again, we're looking for speed and a difference maker at that position. Tate fills the bill.
Man, that dude is so smooth. Hoodie, it's like he's not even running the way he looks, and his ability to understand and to create separation in zone is something that's also impressive because he knows how to manipulate the eyes and try to get the guys moving different ways to help him out. But his ability to attack the ball, strong hands, is going to work without the ball in his hand. He continued to do that. You think about a guy who, Jeremiah Smith playing opposite him, and he's getting all the coverage. He's the guy everybody's talking about. But when Smith wasn't out there, or even when he was out there, he still made big plays. But there were a couple of times where when Smith wasn't playing, and you looked at Tate, and he is just a phenomenal player. And he's a technician when it comes to running routes. And I think one of the reasons people have him so high and receiver number one coming off the board is, he's going to get open versus man, but he also is going to get open in zone. He understands that, and he's been well coached and does a great job of running routes.
Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, might be one of the first safeties is there or maybe somewhere in the middle. But there's a guy there, man, that can really be able to be someone that can be a game breaker for a team.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I was late to the party on this one. Even after the freshman year that he had, this is a guy that can get it done. And I think he opened up a lot of eyes when he ran 4.3. And his ability to play in the post, and then be able to come down and be able to cover. He's just so athletic for a safety, and he's one of those guys that's going to be around a long time. He just like Caleb Downs. It's like, well, where is the tipping point for a guy like that? Can you take him in the top 10? And most people are going to say, nah, it's too high for a safety. And that's why you see not only Thieneman, but you also see Caleb Downs push down a little bit, but both are tremendous safeties. Different style of players, but both of them are big time players.
Howard, this is right up your alley because it's a great conversation over the years about the running back position, how some have devalued it. And for me, my opinion has been that the running back position is just not between the tackles. It is a versatile running back that also has hands.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, when you look at Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, there's talk that he could be a top 5 pick. Now Arizona's looking, right? And again, mocks are mocks, but I just know the young man can run the football and he could develop as a pass catcher, I think, at some point in the league too. How can you pass up on a running back in the top 10 if he can be that impactful for you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to do. And that's really, I think that's one of the big things that you look at this draft. Where does he ultimately end up going? because I think he's one of those players, man, that really just changes the game. And you talked about him being able to catch the ball out of the backfield and continue to develop in that. I mean, he can do that, but he's such a difference maker. And I don't know that we've seen a back of his caliber lately. Just his ability and just sheer, strength, size. I thought one of the best runs he had. Now, I don't even remember who they were playing. It was in the playoffs last year that they were in it, and he had a knee injury, and it's like a 10-yard run. It's like the best 10-yard run I've ever seen in my life, just with an injury, but his ability to just keep those legs moving, change the direction, and he just accelerates so quickly, he's so shifty that he's a hard guy to pass up on. But if you can weather that storm, I mean, if you need a guy that's going to make a difference not only in the run game but can make that difference in the pass game, it's going to be hard to pass up on a guy like him.
Okay, so how do you change that narrative though? Because look, we're in plenty of successful backfields. So how do you change that narrative? Because everyone's like, first of all, I need my quarterback. Secondly, he's got to have a wide receiver or tight end to throw to. I need to have someone on the defensive line. I need someone to be able to be in my secondary to be a difference maker. And the running back has fallen down where it's not as valuable to some teams as possible. Now, the Raiders got killed for picking up the kid from last year. But, I mean, how can he run if you don't have an offensive line to open up holes?
Right. So
how do you change the narrative on that?
Well, to me, it's how you build your team. Right. I think as you talk about the running back position, when you have a guy like Love, if you are right there and you have that O-line and you have a weapon and you have a quarterback already, he becomes almost a no-brainer to you. The challenge becomes, because you're drafting so high, there's more than just one need. It's a reason. It's a reason that you're up there. You need a quarterback. You mismanage that. You overpaid for something. So it's other factors that go into it. And I think that's probably one of the things that's hurt the running back position and tight end position as well, I think. Because if you don't have all those other position pieces, there's always going to be some other player, some other position that's going to be more attractive for you to go after and get, because you don't have that luxury to go get a guy like that. But regardless of position, when you turn it on, he's one of the most dynamic players in this year's draft, without a doubt.
If you're Cam Ward, and he could go forward to Tennessee, we'll see. That's just a couple of mocks. I mean, you feel comfortable, like, okay, I got somebody that can run the ball. Now, do we have enough strength up front to be able for him to be a difference maker? So it's just it's the conversation, Howard, is the running back and how he's paid, and secondly how he's utilized, and then like if you're getting a young guy, where is he drafted? Is he a day 2 guy, a day 3 guy? But Love, to me, amongst some of the guys we talked about, should be in the upper echelon in this draft. So
no doubt, he is a special player.
What do you remember about your draft day?
I was asleep in the basement because we were already down to the 9th round.
Yes.
And I answer the phone. It's Ron Myers from the Colts. And I'm like, okay. Oh, by the way, y'all got Eric Dickerson, just drafted Anthony Johnson out of Purdue in the second, Notre Dame out of the second round. Albert Bentley, who I don't think gets enough credit for what he was able to do. Talk about third down backs. He was probably one of the original guys that made that third down back situation really impressive. And oh, by the way, you only keep 3 backs active. So I'm like, what are you going to do with me? What am I doing?
You sleep in the basement.
I was sleeping in my parents' basement. That's exactly where I was. And then I went over to Gill's Beer on 47th Street and behind the museum. That's how we celebrate, just like that.
You and Steve Bardo had the same story. It's amazing. You and Steve Bardo from the same school.
Yeah,
partying. I mean, we're talking about a couple of drafts there, and Steve was just completely just out, just kicking it. I don't know if he knew he was going to be drafted or not, but it was time to party. It was a day.
Let's go.
So that's what he did. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Howard, is there a player on the next that you're looking forward to seeing on the next level that we have not mentioned?
Man, I'm going to tell you something. Sadiq from Oregon, the tight end.
Yeah.
He's like Love. I'm gonna tell you how good he reminds me so much of Vernon Davis. Um, that was drafted out of Maryland by Washington. He was a number 6 overall pick, I believe. When Vernon was coming out, a couple of my buddies that were coaching in the NFL were like, this dude could be a first round draft pick at linebacker if he wanted to be. He was just that talented. Sadiq, man, that dude is unbelievable. Doesn't have, really didn't have the numbers his junior year because he was sharing time. But to me, he's the type of tight end that you can move him around the formation. You can do all that stuff with him. You can catch it out of the backfield, but then what happens, and then you keep watching the tape, and you're like, well, wait a minute. He can block a defensive line. He can set the edge. Dude he can do it all, and he is an absolute freak of nature. When you watch him, I was when they were in the Big Ten championship game. This was 2 years ago. Yogi Rolf was like, Howard, you really have to go see him because I hadn't seen him physically. You got to go. I'm telling you, you got to go see him. I went down there and watched this dude just warm up, and I was like, oh, he might be the best player at Oregon right now. And he wasn't even draft eligible. So where he can go in the draft for me, for Big Ten players, is the one guy that I am really fascinated to see where he goes, because he is gonna, to me, have a day one impact because he can block at the point of attack and you can move him around like he's a slot receiver. He can just do it all. He's so talented that I'm really looking forward to seeing where he ends up landing. If he lands with an established quarterback, he gave that offense a lot of juice.
The world needs more good tight ends because some are retiring, some are just winding down. So we need more.
This dude is special.
Howard, lastly, when people talk to you in the streets or call you about the Bears and what their needs are, what do you say?
Safety, defensive line, edge, right? It would be great if Finneman was in striking distance, but I just don't know he's going to be there. So I think you look at McNeil Warren from Toledo. I think he's a talented guy, much different than probably number 2, number 3 safety. No, probably 3 or 4, right? When you think about safeties, depending upon where he is. But man, I think that's where the need is. It's there. But if you can find that impact defensive end that could be hanging around there at that spot, or McDonald. Yeah, McDonald from Ohio State, the defensive tackle.
Yeah.
He's another very intriguing pick when you start looking toward the end of the draft, the guys could go get. But when you look at the Bears specifically, they need a guy that can turn some things, make great turnovers, and be a solid player in the back end for them. And I think they've got some options out there, but you never know what direction they can go.
If you had an altar, I would run up and put $100 on it. Because I've been saying this all, through the regular season and the off season. Yeah. You have to get to the quarterback. You just have to. It is actually a miracle season for the Bears in a lot of different ways, Howard, because it's like, so how is it that the opposing quarterback's uniform is clean and the linebackers and secondary doing all the work and they are busting their ass trying to just keep it together, and then they get turnovers, which is awesome. And then you get these miracle plays at the end with Caleb and all these great throws and all these histrionics, which is awesome. But imagine if you had a pass rush. Yeah. Imagine if you had a threat. Now, you saw it late in the playoffs, but you didn't see it enough in the regular season where the Bears kept it close, but yet the offense did enough to be able to win those games. That miracle won't happen this year. You will not have miracles like that on the regular basis this upcoming season. So I've been saying, man, you need to find someone. If it's I like for it to be day one, but you just need young guys to cycle in to help Montez Sweat, because Adingbo is a guy that is supposed to be on the other side of Montez Sweat getting to the quarterback, but seemed more like a run stuffer. And that's not what you're here for. you're here to be able to get them. You got to go get them, man. So I hope that the Bears address their defense because I think it's paramount for them to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, as you know, and that's one of the things that's really hard when you look at what they were able to do defensively. You mentioned the turnovers, obviously a huge part of what really masked a lot of the deficiencies that they may have defensively. So that was good. But the challenge is, and you just mentioned it, the problem that we have as fans is we look at last year and we were like, oh, well, if we just add this piece and that piece, we're going to do the same thing we did last year. And guess how much better we're going to be? Guess how much better Caleb is going to be. And that's not how the National Football League works. This year, what happens if they're struggling to get turnovers? So now you're struggling in the turnover area and you're not getting to the quarterback. And the offense isn't going to score that many points. I mean, you're going to ask them to do a lot. So that's what's so hard to do in this league. And that's why winning is so difficult. And that's why when you have a really dialed in front office and coaching staff with everything is aligned, man, they can turn things around really quickly, but you have to know exactly what you need to be able to make that next step. And it looks like, things are aligning for the Bears. The challenge becomes the clock is always ticking. And you never know. You never know what the next year is gonna bring. So you have to be able to take advantage of those opportunities when you have that opportunity, because at some point Caleb's deal is going to be up and he's going to break the bank. He's going to break the bank, and you can only need to look around the league and see what happens when quarterbacks aren't paid as much or are paid as much. So, that's going to be a balancing act that they're going to have to, look forward to, not only with building a new stadium, but what are they going to do with the pieces that they have in that locker room? And that's going to be a big part of who the Bears are going to become over the next several years.
Yeah, Michael Reese is fine. They'll just move that down and new stadium there. Don't worry about parking. It's all right. Everybody just take the public transportation and just walk.
Hey, the commissioner says no good, no go for that site. Site doesn't work for him. How about that? The commissioner could come in and say, you know what? Y'all might like it, but we don't like it. So you got to find another place.
All good. All good for me, man.
There you go.
For a guy that hasn't won anything, and Ben Johnson, he's got a lot of great ideas. You know what his idea was? I'm just telling you, man. He ain't won anything yet, but he got some great ideas. His ideas, and it's permeated through the locker room now, because I heard Caleb talk the other day. He's like, we had a really good season. It was a lot of fun, but we've turned the page. We didn't do anything last year. Like, okay, that's good. I'm sure your Broncos team said the same thing. Like, we win the Super Bowl, but we haven't done anything yet. So we haven't done anything.
We haven't accomplished anything. It's a new team, but it's always funny. You can tell, and we talked before about this. When the team is buying into what the guy in the front of the locker room and the podium is saying, when all they do is repeat the things that he said to them in the meeting. That's when you know that you got the right guy in the front of the room, because the guys are believing and they're repeating everything that comes out of his mouth. So that was a lot of fun last year. Let's see how things go this year.
They totally etch-a-sketched it, man. It's like, nope. See that? Nothing. We ain't do nothing. Okay.
What? And try that when you're negotiating a contract. Well, you know what? I rushed for 1,700 yards last year. You did nothing. That was last year. Who cares? What can you do moving forward? Nothing. Let's see you try to negotiate like that. See how that works out for you.
I am so looking forward to the draft, man. I'm glad you spent some time with me. And I'll talk to you when you get on the road for the camps, because that'll be coming.
Oh,
soon,
yeah.
Right?
It's year 20, Hoodie. This thing's woo. But I'm going to keep going, Hoodie. So they run me out.
Hey, all I know is I watch those Big Ten commercials. That map is wide, man. That open is like All in the Family. That thing is like they go from West Coast to East Coast.
Yes.
It's just all that travel. That's crazy. The Big Ten is the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're spending some cash all the travel, but they're working out.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, as always. I appreciate the time.
All right, buddy. Be good. Have a great rest of the week.
Howard Griffith from the Big Ten Network with us here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Great friend, and talked to him for a long, long time about the game we love, football, college football, and of course the draft's right around the corner. Always sad for me because all the people I've invested in on Saturdays are graduating. My babies are leaving me. My babies are leaving. But they are going to make some big coin in the National Football League. Keep the conversation going. Leave your comments in the chat about what we talked about as far as college football, the draft coming up, and everything else. And don't forget, on Thursday night, we will be there live to be able to present to you the Chicago Bears draft right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Brought to you by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. NHSChicago.org is where you go for Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. They've been helping families for over 50 years. NHSChicago.org. Boom, it's right there. There it is. As always, we appreciate you checking us out. Make sure that you share this broadcast and share everything we do on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody.